Hey everyone, that guy over there bringing you the final game of the Sunflower GT. Now, before I, start clicking through the pictures, let me just say that I think I think this was the table that me and my opponent were both playing for the best general spot. If either one of us take this one big, then we're going to be in range for best general. So I don't want to say this is the top table because at tournaments it seems to be that there's a multitude of there's maybe like two or three top tables and it's whoever does the best. But definitely we're in the running for best general here. So don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that, but uh, just keep that in mind as we're playing. So uh, anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and show the first picture. So now this army, as I click through the pictures, is absolutely beautiful. This guy ends up getting the most paint points as well. So, and he also wins best overall. So, uh, you know, just an amazing army. When I put up the pictures of the armies and the display boards, I mean, just a beautiful display board and uh, really great to play against and everything. So, I can tell this is going to be a good game. Very high level player too, so it's going to be really uh, a high level of play. So anyway, you kind of see he's got this big unit of halberds in the middle there with the light council inside. He's got these huntsmen. They all have pistols, but they actually have bow and arrows. Um, then he's got steam tank, a big unit of knights with Karl Franz in there and his BSB. And then he's got two units of three demigriffs and a unit of pistoliers on the other side. And then there's two cannons. The other cannon is like the bottom right corner of this picture. You just can't see it. That it's there. So you can see it in this picture. You can see where all my units had lined up against his. The idea was I had a strong left center, hoping to stay away from that steam tank for as long as possible, and then deal with these cavalry units before moving in to deal with the halberdiers. He's spread them out so far because he doesn't want me to get past him. And yep, so that's what my side looks like. Um, the Ripperdactyls here are facing forward just to counter those pistoliers. So picture that. All right, so Empire turn one. He moves everything forward, as you can see. Just online. He may have declared a charge with somebody, and then I fled, and then he just moved everybody else online. The steam tank is able to get up into these chameleon skinks, which is unfortunate he rolled high enough. And yeah, I'm just taking a picture here. So he breaks them. There's down to one guy, and he runs away. And then I think maybe a spell does 3 wounds to the Ripperdactyl unit here. That's why you see that one dice. That's really it. That's really the only casualties from the turn. So here's my movement. Turn one, I kind of do this horseshoe formation, this crescent around. I sacrifice 2 units of skinks there, but the idea is that I'm going to hold them up kind of in this fatal funnel here for a little bit while my flying units go after these pistoliers back there. I'm not sure if he might have actually killed one of my teardown chiefs with a cannon last turn. But regardless, here's what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not seeing my other teardown chief, so yep. And you see there's a bunch of dead halberdiers over there. I must have cast some spell or something to take them out inside that forest. But I'm just purely going around the side, trying to get around to those cannons. I put a lot of priority on those cannons this game to take them out. But otherwise, here's where you see it. The Razordons fired into that night bus, and with the 1-up armor save, I just couldn't get through. I think he dispelled my Hand of Glory, and it just didn't do as much damage as I was hoping. That skink rallies, and all my other skink units are kind of trying to get away from the steam tank. My Riperdactyls, they get on the other side of the building, and this steam tank can't pivot to get to them now because of the building. So that he's just going to have to go either straight forward or straight back for the most part, which is good for me. I blot-toted this unit, so one of these Riperdactyl units is going to kill them. The other unit is going to go after the cannon. Here's another picture. And through spells and shooting, I'm actually able to kill one Demigryph, which is pretty good. So, yep, that's what I'm going to say this at the end of my turn, but you see there's another. Okay, I kill one knight through shooting. You can kind of see that guy missing in the back corner. And yeah, I think that's for the most part it. I'm just taking a bunch of shots at the board because I'm seeing that this is a pretty high level game here. Okay, so you can see his charges. He just charges into my units that I'd piled up for him to charge. The steam tank moves there because he's unable to make it into anything. I think, oh, you know what? I think he miscast the wizard, and that's why there's a number of these guys missing, is because he miscast with one of those light spells. But you see he's charged in there. And the pistoliers move around the side to get out of charge arcs and try to pick off my character here. And between the cannon and him, they both, or the pistoliers, they kill off that Pterodon rider. You know, those are a couple hundred points that went away pretty quick this game, so I'm not sure how I feel about those. But they're gone. He misfires with his cannon and blows up, so I guess, you know, that's much ado about nothing. But then his little skirmisher unit here kind of piles up in front of my Pterodon, or my Riperdactyls, my smaller Riperdactyl unit, just because it's less to be charged by. These guys get shot, and I think they flee. Or maybe a spell. I think he cast a spell, or he did the flame template, because you could see that the other skink, Chameleon Skink, is gone as well. So he reforms with his knights, and you know, the Demigryphs are keeping in line with him too. He didn't overrun with them. I think he was just getting ready for the next big move. Here's what this side looks like. And my turn, I pretty much, or no, this is, I'm sorry, the end of Empire turn 2. You can see that the door is closing on me, so I got to do something. So I make a long bomb charge with my Croxagores into that smaller unit of Demigryphs. I think I am inside the bunker, or the building at this point, with my Slan and his unit. And you can see my Rippers flying around the back. They're trying to go after this cannon. At this point, I'd switched for Searing Doom the turn before, so my idea is to use Searing Doom to start picking off these armored units, and then I sacrifice another unit of Skinks. Yep, you can see these guys going after. They're going to either go after the Pistoliers or the cannon. Gives me some options. This unit had charged into the Huntsmen, I think they're called, just to pick up those points. Fortunately, my Skink unit rallies here, and yeah. So in the magic phase, I get a big Searing Doom off and wipe out that whole unit. So that's 9 wounds through the Searing Doom. So I got pretty lucky there of Demigryphs. So that's a pretty big boon for me. These Demigryphs look like they're going to be taken care of in short order, because I've never really played against Demigryphs before. So much less a list like this. So I'm glad that they're coming off the table. Yep, just some more pictures of the table here. That big unit, I was really scared of it for some reason. I thought that there's no warrior priest in there. There's just wizards. I really should have just been going after them with my Ripperdactyls. I have some thoughts about that after the game I'll show you. But yeah, I definitely should have been going after them with all the light wizards. With shooting, I'm not really able to do anything to these units over here. The knights, the 1+ armor save is just so hard to get through. So after combat, that guy's down to 1 wound, and they only did 2 wounds to my Croxagores before I kind of stomped through them. So he gets away, though. Do the swift stride. And sorry about that. Okay, so this guy wipes out the huntsman and overruns. So some points there. They can turn around, come back to the fray. So his Empire turn, he charges into my skink unit here, which is pretty bad for me because the Razordons are 12 inches away. So with a 12-inch overrun, he could get into combat with them. So just keep that in mind. The rest of his units move up. He's using that wide frontage to kind of move back and forth along the front line with his wizards, which is a pretty good tactic. Gives him a huge side arc. Steam tank moves kind of tied up behind this unit at this point. And after combat, he rolls 12 and gets into combat with these guys, which is pretty bad for me. So now I just need to get away from them, because if he wipes them out in my turn, then he could charge really anywhere he wants to. So that's really bad, because he could reform. He also rallied that last Demigryph, so I'm going to have to commit the Croxagores to kill off that last guy. So this is what the end of the turn looks like. You'll notice that the Pistoliers are gone. I think I got them with like a Soul Quench or something is what I think took them out. Magic is a really powerful tool for me, so I end up picking off a lot of things. I just need to keep better track of my magic phases, I think, but that's kind of hard to do, especially when you're playing at the top table and you're nervous about the game, much less the battle report. So anyway, yeah, I'm just hiding behind the hill there from that big unit, and yep, I'm just trying to stay in the game at this point. It's pretty much anybody's game at this point. So yep, we still got targets over here. So my turn, I double charge the cannon just to take care of it. I probably didn't need to put both units into it there, because they can't all fight anyway because it's a cannon. So oh well. And then I charge in with my Croxagores. They'll probably kill my last that Croxagore in the back, but I'll definitely kill them. So yeah, there's that long overrun. That's really gonna hurt me. Really, that's like 400 points swing in his favor now, because we're pretty much neck and neck right here. Yeah, so this is gonna hurt. You can see that the Slan's bunker unit, they're inside the building. He's been hitting them with cannons. I think this is the turn that I pop him back out, because he's running out of wounds or guys to take the cannonball hits for him. And then I just gotta get away from him, because as soon as he kills those guys, he'll reform and be able to charge any way he wants. So I just need to get the heck out of Dodge. You can see these are where my other units are. Again, just trying to get good angles. Okay, so the skink priest moves in behind the those knights there. We got the skink. So the skink unit is inside the building. The skink BSB is behind the building, and the Slan is outside the building. So they're kind of lined up there, so they shouldn't be able to be charged by anybody or cast any spells at. The Croc Score, or the Croc Score unit, moves out of the way, just trying to get away from the knight unit. I've only been able to kill 2 of those knights, and they're just really hard. I should pick up the cannon and the demigriff this turn. I go over there to try to chaff up the big unit here. They've got such a wide frontage that they they have great line of, like, the firing arcs, so they can cast spells over a huge part of the table, but it should be easy to keep them from spinning around. The goal is to try to get a fiery convocation through the skink chief, or the skink priest there. We'll see how that goes. So that's after shooting and close combat. You see the Croc Scores have overrun the that demigriff. The Ripperdactyls have overrun the cannon. One unit going off the board, the other one's where you see it. Then my other Ripperdactyl is hiding behind the building so that he doesn't get charged by that steam tank. You see the rest of the guys here. I think he casts a spell and puts a wound on the skink priest there. Yeah, I think that's what happens. Yep. And then that one goes away. I don't know. Maybe that dice was just sitting there. Anyway, you see that night bus. They only killed 2 of the Razordons, and I'm able to kill 2 of the knights. But he breaks me anyway, and chases me down. So that's 400 points for my opponent there, which is pretty big. And you can see this is where everybody ends up over here. Yep, this is just the overview of the board for the end of my turn. Beginning of his turn, he starts to reform his halberdiers. The steam tank charges into the skinks there. That's what everybody looks like over here. There's another skink unit in that upper building now, but everybody's just trying to stay safe. He reforms the unit like this. He moves around. It's kind of a blurry picture, but he moves around his knight unit. So now they're looking at the rear of my Croc Score unit and the Scrox unit, and they can see the slan now and the BSB. So magic shooting uneventful. I go ahead and move those last 2 units out. I think this is when we say we're only going to fit 1 more turn in, and or maybe we're going to make it to the end of turn 5. So I move these guys here. The Scrox Score unit moves far out of the way. Regardless, he's going to get that skink unit, but then everybody else should be safe. I move the slan now over. I'm going to try to get the fiery convocation off on that big unit. Really, I'm making a play now. All my units are moving around to make a play on his big unit over here. All of my Ripperdactyls move so that they can see, so they can charge in. I've got a front, a flank, and a rear. So I'm going to try to pick up this unit. If I could knock out that unit, that'd be huge for me. And they're outside of that leadership 10 bubble from the Karl Franz. So that's going to be a danger. Now, I think I get it off here, and that's why he's missing so many folks now, is I'm able to get off a big spell. I either get Tempest off or I get the Fiery Convocation off. I can't remember. But you can see it kills kind of. I think I get Tempest off. I think he dispels my Fiery Convocation. I get the Tempest off. And here's where you see it there. He moves this unit around to try to get the leadership 10 bubble because he's not concerned about those skinks. He reforms his unit here. Again, the light spells. He's just trying to keep as many Ripperdactyls out. He basically is denying me a rear and giving me a flank and a front to the Ripperdactyls should they make it in. And he 6 dices banishment and kills my slan. What a powerful spell. So this is really bad. Obviously, the game was really close up until this point, and now that was like 585 points in his favor. Well, let's see, it was 450, 550, because the general. So I think it's 550 in his favor. So yeah, that was huge. Fortunately, I passed all my panic checks, but that if I had a chance of winning this game, I think I could pull out a tie now. But that was huge. Banishment. I really didn't. I didn't realize it made you re-roll your invulnerable saves. I guess that's what makes it so good. And so yeah, he rolled a ton of hits, a ton of wounds, and I didn't even have to re-roll anything. I think he did 9 wounds, and I failed enough saves to die on the first roll. So wow, that was powerful. So big swing for my opponent. So my turn, I charge in, just trying to pick off the level 4s. You know, I always say the Rippers are there to take out level 4s, and this would have been the perfect opportunity for them. I'll get back and talk to it towards the end of the video, but yeah, these guys go in here. The other Ripperdactyls fail their charge, so I just get 4 of them. And here's the last photo of the game. I'm able to take out all of his wizards, and but the halberdiers, they don't break or anything, so they just stay where they're at. So at the end of the game, 2-6 loss to the Empire. You know, I was sitting up. I mean, this was definitely a top table game. My opponent was very good, very, very good, and he just outplayed me. I mean, that's as simple as it was. If I had left, it ended up being a 585 point game in his favor. So it really was down to that banishment, irresistible forcing that banishment through, and the double 6 on the overrun to get into the Razordons. Between those two moves, that was close to 1,000 points in his favor. So you know, that's the kind of the weakness of this list, is it's not very forgiving, and I needed to play better in order to win, and I was a little reckless. I left too many things to chance, and you know, he got me by 585 points, and then because he killed the Slan, that was a bonus point because I was trying to keep my general alive, and then he had to get a unit with fortitude in my deployment zone, so that was the Knights. So it really was 2-4, and then he got the 2 bonus points. So here are my thoughts. Karl Franz, he's super hard. If I'd been able to get off, I was trying to cast the Arcane Unforging on him, but he just kept dispelling it to try to defeat his sword, because without the sword, that unit wouldn't have been as powerful. And my Razordons actually would have been able to take him, I think, if it would have been for that sword, where it automatically wounded and automatically did D3 wounds on every hit. So, yeah, I think the Razordons would have actually been able to take him, because he killed 2 or 3 of the Razordons, but it wouldn't have. That was on the charge with Karl Franz, and I think Karl Franz might have killed 2 of them by himself. So I don't know. It would have been interesting to see if I could have got rid of the sword, but anyway, the Light Council was rough. I really needed to go after that first instead of the cannons. The cannons did not threaten me nearly as much as those Light Councils did. It's just that they didn't threaten me until the last turn of the game, because I was able to keep them under wraps, I think. So, lesson to be learned: banishment. That wizard needs to die, whichever wizard has the banishment, and that's what the Ripperdactyls are for. I always say they go after the level 4, but on the table I always seem to go after other things. So learn from my mistakes. Ripperdactyls are there to kill, specifically kill wizards like this. So I definitely need to take that into account in the future. Like I said, losing the Sand was the difference. Ripperdactyl should have been engaged sooner. I was going after the War Machines, but really I should have just plowed through that Halberdier unit. I don't know why I thought they were going to be harder than they were. But if I had gone into them first, I think the game would have been a lot different. And I'm still confident with my ability to avoid combats. That Razordon unit is kind of a liability in that it's so many points, and they can't flee. They have to stand and shoot. I could have saved them, though. I could have saved them if I'd wanted to, but I just would have marched away. once the shield of skinks started to collapse, I could have moved them away, maybe put them in the building, and then just shot shots into everybody. Uh, and then knights charging into a building are not nearly as scary because they have to get off their horses and stuff. That probably actually would have been a better play, and I didn't think of that till just now. But anyway, that's how it went. So with this, I ended up tied for 4th for battle points. My opponent got the most battle points, so he got best overall. So I was at 24 points and 28 was best general. So so close. If it had gone the other way, I would have been tied for best general. So, and I think it could have if I just played a little bit differently. So here, I want to show you this picture. Why didn't I charge the Ripperdactyls into the Halberdier unit? Because as you can see here, they're in a woods. It looks to be about 50% of the units in the woods. They wouldn't have been steadfast, and I could have charged in, killed off those wizards, probably just blown through that unit. Imagine 9 Ripperdactyls in the front, because they're wide enough. I probably could have fit that in. 9 Ripperdactyls in the front. You know, that's 9. They get 3, so that's 27 attacks. And let's just say they get D3. On average they get 6 attacks each. So that would have been 54 attacks, re-rolling to hit. So 75% of 54 is, what is that? 12, 13. So 41 hits, I believe. Yeah, 41 hits. Wounding on 3s is should have done the math before I started. Yeah, because 6 times 7 is 42, so 14. So 14 more away would have been 20. It would have been like 20 something wounds, 28 wounds or something, with some killing blows in there. So I would have like deleted the unit, and then they might not even had enough. I think there was 50 of them there, but still, that's crazy. And then it just would have gone on the next turn. So yeah, I could have charged in there, killed off enough that they would have probably not been steadfast because they're in the woods. And he moved forward. So he moved forward into the woods. If I had been facing them, they could have all charged in there, and yeah, then gone through. So anyway, lesson to be learned. Definitely next time I know where to put my Ripperdactyls. I know what to do with them. But this was such a great game, such a high level game, and we were playing kind of. At the beginning, you could tell we were asking very specific questions about each other's army, and then during the game, it was very tight-lipped. But afterwards, just a great guy. Talked to me about my list, things that I could change or improve, and just, I gladly play this guy again. Such a great army, great paint, great sportsmanship, great everything. So, and he went very deserving of best overall. But regardless, I'll be talking about my army list and where I'm going. But that's the end of the GT. Like I said, tied for 4th with for battle points, and that's about the best I could hope to do after such a long break from Warhammer Fantasy. And really, these are my first 5 games with this list. So, alrighty. Well, thank you for watching all these, and taking this journey with me through the video battle reporting again. And please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.